You're listening to Australia's national youth radio station, Triple J. For more info, go to triplej.net.au.
Welcome to Sunday Night Safran. In-depth discussions on religion, politics and hoochies on Triple J.
Bob, stop drawing that picture of Muhammad, please.
Ha! Sort of bomb on his head at all.
Hey, I'm John Safran, and you are Father Bob Maguire.
Yes, I'm
and this
Sheikh
is Sunday
Maguire.
Night Safran. Now, on the show tonight, Father Bob, we have some compelling guests. We have a captain in the Israeli Defence Force Intelligence Unit, Eran Klein, and he's written a book called Striking Back, which is the same story as covered in Spielberg's Munich, except he says this is the true story because he has spoken to Mossad agents, that's the Israeli secret police, and he wants to set it straight and say Spielberg says Mossad operates this way. It's not true. They operate that way.
I don't understand. I thought that you're saying the facts are disputed.
Yeah.
Oh.
And
I
even
thought the motives might have been disputed. I didn't know the facts were disputed.
So excited to being involved in this world of secret police.
Yeah, don't stir him up.
He's probably in it himself.
That's
he'll
what I mean.
deny
Don't
it.
stir him up. For heaven's sake.
Because, Mossad, they kill people on foreign soil.
Even remind him of that.
We could be gunned down. But what a way to go, honestly. If you're going to go, you're quite old anyway, Father Bob.
Yes.
Imagine being able to say you're gunned down by Mossad.
Oh, that would be
You've got to work out
it?
Mossad?
Say nice things about Mossad.
We also have Dan, the modern man. He's a love coach, a la the love coach in Will Smith's movie Hitch, except he's like Australian. And he says he can teach guys to be naturally attractive to women, and some reason he writes naturally in capital letters on all his
yes, I understand
press
that.
information.
I thought their mothers were supposed to teach them these things, and their sisters.
Yes, but we don't live in.
We don't have mothers or sisters anymore.
No, so you need people like Dan, the modern man, to tell you how to do it.
We have coaches for everything.
We also have Gideon Haigh, who's the author of many fine non-fiction books about cricket and business, but he's taken time aside to write an article about how he thinks Google is making us stupid.
And somebody had to do it.
He'll be explaining what he thinks are the limitations and the tricks of and the false security that we're headed down by believing that the internet is the information messiah.
Not a moment too soon, John.
And finally, we have Mel LeBroy. We had her last year. She came in every so often. She'll be coming in every so often this year too, to give us highbrow cheat notes for books. And tonight she will be discussing Picnic at Hanging Rock.
It's old.
It's not. Yeah, but
she's not old. I mean, it's old.
But that's the whole thing. It's like the classics.
Oh,
she covers the classics.
Oh, that's nice. So, Picnic at Hanging Rock. Did they disappear, or was they murdered? Or were they taken by aliens?
And she'll also be telling us about the crappy final chapter that came out a decade later. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Anyway, we'll talk about
Let's
that more.
Let's not reveal that on air, though.
Hey, I was watching, speaking about the Muhammad cartoon controversy.
Yes.
And the Norwegian paper, printing the cartoons. And Dutch people being under threat all around the world.
Yes.
I was watching Paradise Lost only last night, which is a Palestinian film by a Palestinian director. And it's all about showing the human side of, of Palestinians.
Yeah.
And even the ones who resort to violence. Hey, they've got a human side too, and let's learn to understand. And then when the credits were rolling at the end, I noticed the first credit to roll was a logo for the goddamn Norwegian government film fund.
Oh.
So the Norwegian government has
running
paid,
with the fox and hunt with the hounds.
Well, has paid for this film that has become this great kind of advertisement for the Palestinian cause. Because it's won a Golden Globe Award, it's up for an Academy Award.
Yeah.
So you might think that maybe if you were Arab, you should be, rather than kind of going to the Norwegian embassy and kind of lighting a flag on fire and
be
smashing down a window saying, oh, you naughty Norwegians, why did you print this cartoon? Maybe you should be going there like with flowers. Maybe go back. If you have smashed the window, go back, clean things up, maybe give some flowers and thank the Norwegian government for funding Paradise Lost.
Yeah, that's nice. But it wasn't Norwegian.
You see, if I would have discovered this, if I would have seen Paradise Lost like a month, I could have nipped it in the bud. I could have gone to the all these Arab countries and told that story that I just told them, and they would have all looked at it a different way and go, well, you know.
Yeah, I doubt it.
And yeah.
Well, I mean, this is a convergence of very unfortunate events that have been going. We're not going to. It's boring.
No, it's not boring at all.
1917.
1917. It
started it all.
Oh,
that was your crusade.
My crusade. Can you just stop? I'm not telling you how to like change, right? Because you're 71, and I admit you're smarter than me, more knowledge and more well knowledge. But you have a real pronoun issue, and it makes it quite confusing to follow you. Like, cause you go, for example, you'll say to me, you go, John, you're Pope. And then, like, everyone listening is like, what, John's Pope? What, is Pope a metaphor?
Everyone knows John's doing. If you can't convince them, confuse them.
Anyway.
We don't want to be outright rude. We want to be, sneakily rude.
Sneakily rude. Father Bob will talk more after this.
This is Sunday Night Safran.
My whole life is just following you around and trying to explain what you're talking about.
The listeners will... making up these little characters. They don't know if there's a Mary Jane here
Yeah, but if it's on TV, right, and Daryl Summers on Haigh Saturday is going, hey, Crystal, or whatever, right?
There's nobody there.
No, you see Daryl Summers' eyes going to the side of the screen, right, so the audience can pick up that he's talking to, like, a member of the crew. Whilst if you're just, like, in a radio station and you suddenly shout out Mary Jane's name, no one in God's name knows what you're on about.
They will. We'll introduce them. Mary Jane will become a logo.
Now, Father Bob.
Yes.
Can you tell, I don't know what this means. I just thought... no, it doesn't mean anything. But I think... I don't know. Anyway, this new year at Triple J, I'm walking in to the reception here at Melbourne ABC Studios... And there's, like, this girl behind the reception. Don't pull that face, Father Bob.
Go on.
and there's this girl behind the reception, and I don't know, just something's clicking or I don't... Not
there's a change.
Well, yeah, I just don't know what's going on, right? And she's sort of giving me this look or whatever. Anyway, go up to record the show and then go back down. And then she's this girl who, like, when I was in, like, year 8...
Yeah.
And used to go to Jewish summer camp, like the first girl I ever had a crush on, is now the receptionist.
Good heavens!
Or I don't know, the woman down with the security pass or whatever.
And it lets you come in or not. Yeah, that's a bit spooky, though, isn't it?
Yeah. What does that mean? What's God trying to tell me with that? I don't know.
That's a bit spooky. You sure?
No, it's definitely her. I had the conversation with her.
You did?
Because she goes, you don't know who I am. The last time I saw her was like in year 8.
Well, maybe she doesn't know who you are, but she...
No, she knows who I am. Well, don't confuse things.
Well, she said to me on the way in...
Here we go.
She said to me, she said, listen, who was that man who just signed the thing?
Yeah, here we go. I should be co-hosting the show with Ross Noble, because he'd tell the truth more than...
I'm here to keep the truth on the air.
I wrote a song about her when I was like in year 8 at summer camp, like a little jokey song with her name in it. I've got it at home in this little book. Because she was obsessed. She was like she was the world's biggest. She was the world's biggest Aha fan.
Oh yes.
So I wrote a little song because I had a crush on her about her crush on Mortimer Harkett.
Can you remember
lead singer of Aha? That mentions her name.
But you're not going to sing it on air now.
No, it's too embarrassing.
Oh, is it?
Yes. It's too embarrassing.
It's not filth.
No, it's not filth.
No.
But should I give her the song or whatever? Do you reckon? Or...
I would. That's a nice... when she says to me next week, who was that man who gave me that song? Well, then, I'll explain to her. Humour him. Humour him, darling, because he's lost his wits over the last few weeks.
See, I can't think this is the problem. I can't just think life is random, right? If I could be more relaxed in my life. But for example, I can't go there, like, through Triple J reception and suddenly sitting there is the girl I had a crush in.
No.
And think it doesn't mean something. There's some meaning in, like, the overall narrative of my life. It says something.
And cosmic history and all of that. But that's Jewish, isn't it?
I don't know. See, that's why it'd be better if I was an atheist, because then I wouldn't have to have this kind of...
No, there wouldn't be
I wouldn't have to click everything in place and try to figure out why...
There'd be no links.
Happening. No.
Everything was totally yes. Well, that's bad luck, that affliction you've got, mate. But it must make life, paranoid for you.
Father Bob,
Yeah.
coming up after this, we talk to
Well,
a captain in the Israeli Defence
we've
Force
got to be careful
intelligence unit.
Well, be careful.
Eran Klein. Father Bob Maguire, you know that ever since seeing Steven Spielberg's Munich, I've become obsessed with the Mossad, the Israeli Secret Service.
Yes.
It's like become my thing. You know how you've been hanging out for me long enough. And, like when I'm obsessed by the Scientologists, and I just read about the Scientologists, and then I'm like obsessed with the Freemason. My latest is Mossad, and I kind of, because I even want to, I think I want to join.
Well, you've got a uniform on. Oh, we won't tell them then.
Anyway, joining us from Israel, a captain in the Israeli Defence Force's intelligence unit. He writes for Malam, a journal for former Israeli Secret Service officers. He's a military and intelligence affairs correspondent for Time magazine, and he's just released a book challenging Steven Spielberg's version of how the Israeli Secret Service operates. Joining us, Eran Klein. How are you?
I'm fine, John. Thank you very much.
Hello?
Hello?
Sorry, a bit of a technical problem here. Hello?
Hello?
Ah, that's better. Oh. Don't worry, we're not bugging you. I hope you're not bugging us.
Not yet.
No. Now, after that little hiccup, now, why did I wanted to get a bit of background for our audience. Now, why did the Israeli government feel the need to set up Mossad in the first place?
Well, every country has this kind of security apparatus. It's like the American has the CIA, the French has the DST, and I'm sure Australia also has this kind of security apparatus that is supposed to be part of the apparatuses protecting the country, especially gathering intelligence about groups or organizations who want to damage or to harm the country.
So you're saying that most countries, like the Japanese, and they've got secret agents planted in Australia and in America, and pretty much every country does it.
I don't know. Usually, between friendly countries, it doesn't happen. Usually, you don't need to gather intelligence from in friendly countries, but in other countries that some of them are your enemies, or you're feeling being that they are in some kind of danger to you, you will find the ways or to send your undercover agents, meaning Australian or Israelis, or to recruit some of the local people to work for you and to send you and to gather for you intelligence. Yes?
So how many Mossad agents are placed around the world?
Oh, it's a good question. It's a top secret question.
Oh, you can tell me.
If I can...
We got very low ratings here on Triple J, so not many people here.
If I can assess, I would say, I don't know, around 200.
Wow.
300
And there'd be a couple in
maximum.
Australia, wouldn't there?
They won't go to Australia. Australia is a friendly country to Israel, so I don't think they are in Australia for this kind of jobs. Maybe they will come for a vacation to Australia, but not for spying.
Do you think the Vatican has got spies? Bob Maguire speaking.
Right.
Do you think the Vatican has got spies throughout the world?
No, I don't think they need this kind of organization. They don't need spies. They have the information, they are straight from God. They don't need spies here on the ground.
Now, what's a Sayan? I was reading it, and they're like informers to Mossad, are they?
Say it again?
A Sayan.
Ah, Sayan.
Yes.
Well,
because I was thinking I can't probably become an agent, but I'm Jewish, so maybe I can become a Sayan.
There were quite a lot of Sayan. Sayan is a collaborator, I would call it. He's not an agent because he's not. You don't recruit him. He's part of his a community, and he's living there. And from time to time, when you need him, you call him, and he will collaborate with you. He will help you, he will assist you, doing basically small stuff, but very important stuff, like carrying out all kinds of notes, the secret notes that you need to send from one country to another, from one place to another. This is Sayan, basically. Every organization has it.
Now, Mossad, they assassinate people on foreign soil occasionally. Is there anything in either the Israeli constitution or Israeli law that sets out these provisions, or is everything off the record?
It's authorized by the Prime Minister, but there is no law for that.
So
breaking the law.
Isn't it open to abuse, like by the Prime Minister of the day?
No, I don't think so. It's go through a channel of decision. It's eventually the Prime Minister it's his decision, but it's his decision and it's his call. But it goes through all kinds of levels before it gets to the Prime Minister, and it's something that it's part of a process that I don't think that there were prime ministers here who were abusing this tool for their own use.
Now, but I'm sure
I will say one more thing, if I may. It's usually this tool is being made, assassination. You will assassinate when you don't have the ability to arrest the target.
Yes.
When you know that this target, this man, this activist, is planning, and he's right now planning, or he's going to carry out a terrorist attack. This is the only case when you will assassinate him, because you don't have any other way to protect your citizens, because he's going to carry out the terrorist attack.
Now, why don't foreign governments, because they sometimes get annoyed from what I've read, get annoyed when Mossad kills someone on their soil, why don't they, try to sue Mossad or try to sue the Israeli government?
Well, it doesn't work this way because it's undercover, and usually the Mossad or the Israeli won't recognize. They won't take responsibility for what happened. So these countries have to come up with other ways how to signal to Mossad that they don't like this kind of operation. And in my book, I'm revealing, for example, one incident of when the Israeli assassinated in 1992 a Palestinian activist on French soil in Paris by shooting him 3 times in the head. The French didn't like it, and they know it was Mossad, although Mossad didn't, even the head of Mossad didn't took responsibility for it. But they decided to, in a way, to revenge, and they told the Palestinians, which are the enemies of the Israelis in this case, they told them about an undercover agent, a Palestinian, working within the PLO, working within the Palestinians, that he's working for the Israelis, and the Palestinians arrested him, and eventually they sentenced him to death, and they killed him.
Wow. Now, how did you get Mossad agents to talk to you for your book, Striking Back?
Well, it's a very good question. It's not an easy task. It was very hard for me to get to some of them. Some I know from my past as a military intelligence officer that I did when I was younger, and to get to them, some I knew along the years as a correspondent. I knew that they are veterans of Mossad, and to approach them and to start to talk with them. And it's like an onion. It's like dealing with an onion. You have to take a layer by layer to get to the core of what happened. Because these people are very suspicious. They don't talk with anyone about what happened. They didn't talk with a lot of journalists. They didn't talk with any journalist. So it's like taking layer by layer of an onion, and eventually you will get to the hardcore. You will get to the real story, the interesting, the very juicy story of what happened.
Now, you can be honest with me. I won't tell anyone. Are you in Mossad, or have you ever been in Mossad?
No, I will be totally frank with you. I've never been a Mossad agent. I have very good connections in the past and even today. This is my job as a journalist, but I was never part of Mossad. I won't. If I was, I would tell you, but I'm not. I'm not. I'm really not. Don't make mistake. I was a military intelligence. I was part of the IDF. I was part of the army.
Yes.
And Mossad is not part of the army. It's a separate security apparatus. They have a lot of connections. I know a lot of people, but it's separate.
And has there been any official reaction to your book? I know when things have been leaked before about the Mossad there's been a very angry reaction from the Israeli government.
Well, it's not been yet published in Israel in Hebrew, so we'll have to wait and see. I must say that now I'm meeting a lot of my sources, and I'm giving them the book in English to as a thank you, and they like it. They like it. They said it's very good. It's very interesting. It's the closest to the truth, as they say.
And your book is specifically about the 1972 Munich Olympics massacre as portrayed in Steven Spielberg's new film. Now, why is Spielberg's portrayal of Mossad inaccurate?
Well, I must say, first of all, that it's a very good movie. It's a great film, and I really recommend people to go and to see it, because I think it's important, because it raises very important questions about terror, about counter-terrorism, about assassinations, etc. It's very important to my opinion. But I must say that although it's a very good drama, and it's Hollywood, it's fiction in the way it portrays what happened after the Munich massacre. In the movie, the main theme, the main goal of the Israelis is to revenge the killing of the Israeli athletes in the Munich massacre. Although the story, the truth on the ground, tells a completely different story. What the Israelis were involved after the Munich massacre was a campaign to prevent the next terrorist attack. John, if you will, I will take you for a second go back to the 70s and sit in the chair of the Prime Minister of Israel at the time. After the Munich massacre, you will ask your head of security apparatuses, is the Munich massacre is the only case, is the one case, or it's a first in a row of terrorist attacks that we are going to face in the near future?
So you think it was a prevention exercise, according to you, as opposed to being a prevention exercise for future massacres and terrorist attacks rather than a revenge exercise?
Yes. It was. Revenge, listen, we are not robots here. So revenge, you can say that it was part of the atmosphere. It was part of the motivation of people to work really, really hard. But the main goal was looking towards the future, how to protect, how to prevent terrorist attacks from happening. Although in my book, in my first chapter, I'm revealing a very interesting case, the one that I started telling you about it before, the 1992 assassination in Paris. This is the only case of revenge that we can say it's 100% revenge from the Israeli side, killing and assassinating a Palestinian activist who was involved planning the Munich massacre 20 years before.
Your book and the film also highlight the unwillingness of national governments to take stern action against terrorists. They'd rather get them out of the country in an aeroplane so that no further damage was done to that nation, which I presume appears to be cowardly. National government response to an act that happened on their territory, and you came in and you did the job that the national government wasn't able to do.
You're referring to the Germans?
Well, don't mention the war.
Your question.
Yes.
Well, yeah, the Germans, they released the three survivors of the Munich massacre, 3 Palestinian terrorists. They were very happy to do it. They didn't want to get involved with the whole conflict between Israelis and Palestinians, and they are in a way to be blamed for what they did. It was quite a shock for the Israelis. They didn't announce the Israelis that they're going to do it, that they're going to release the 3, and it was not only that they are to be blamed for taking a very amateurish rescue operation that led to the Munich massacre. They also released these 3 terrorists right after, 3 weeks after the massacre.
Yes.
Yes.
I have one final question, and it's got to do with me, because I've always wondered this. I was once filming this TV show called Race Around the World, and I went to lots of different countries and filmed little stories in all of them. And I was scheduled to go from Lebanon to Israel, And my producers thought, we've got a bright idea. We'll put in a little stopover in Athens in the middle, but just so it doesn't look suspicious. Because maybe if you just go straight from Lebanon to Israel, like the Israelis will be like, John, are you some sort of terrorist or something like that? So they put in this stopover in Athens. Mm-hmm. Then when I arrived in Athens, waiting for me, there were two Israeli, officials. I was quite confused because it wasn't on Israeli soil. And they took me out the back of the airport and they were having a word with me and they were trying to work out, why had I taken this unusual stopover in Athens? Why didn't I go straight from Lebanon to Israel if I had nothing to hide? And I've always wondered, do you reckon, was that Mossad?
Well, it's not. This is not. I don't want to destroy, a good story for you, but but this is not Mossad because although they are working on abroad, this is in a way they are related to a different security apparatus in Israel, which is called Shabak, which is the internal security apparatus.
So they're more like the FBI or something, as opposed to the CIA.
Yeah, the comparison is the FBI in a way, and they are in charge of protecting airplanes and passengers in airplanes. So probably they saw, the stamp of the passport in your passport, the Lebanese stamp in your passport, and they wondered, what he was doing in Lebanon and coming to Israel. This is a little bit dangerous, so let's ask him questions and see if he's dangerous enough.
I'd tell you the extension to that story, but we don't have enough time. The satellite's about to cut off. But thank you very much for your time, Eran Klein, and telling us about your book, Striking Back.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Father Bob. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
My pleasure.
You're listening to Sunday Night Safran.
You know, when the real awkward moment when the Israeli Mossad / Shin Bet secret police took me back back of the airport.
Very thrilling.
I was sitting there in a chair, and they'd taken my bag, and they were going through, because I was filming for Race Around the World on my little camera, they were going through all my tapes, watching them all in the other room. And then there was quite an awkward moment, because what happened was, when I first left from Australia to go overseas, they were filming us at the airport, the ABC crew, and, they wanted to film us doing wacky stuff. We're about to go off. So I went to the business card machine at the airport, just for the cameras, and I filmed myself, or I was filmed, printing out this business card that said, John Safran, international terrorist and heroin trafficker. And then my full details, right? Anyway, so I did that for the camera. Isn't that funny, right?
Yeah.
Then I kind of put them in my pocket, which then go... Anyway, next thing I know, Israeli secret police... They're coming back into the room.
With these
they're
cards.
holding up a business card with my name and
laughing?
address and contact details, saying international terrorist and heroin trafficker.
Not laughing at all.
No, they said, "Is this Schumer?"
And they probably had voices like Eran, deep and growly.
But it did seem to... They let me go after that. So in some bizarre reverse psychology, the Israelis finding these business cards identifying me as an international terrorist somehow.
Is it worth being that mischievous?
This was before September 11, Father Bob. This was 97, you know what I mean? I possibly wouldn't do it now. Actually,
They had
probably
blown
will,
up. They had
to be honest.
blown up. They attacked the world towers, trade towers, before 9/11. Anyhow, that's an excellent and exciting story of which I have none to compare.
Have you had any experience with any secret services anywhere in the world ever?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
I once. I don't
think so. ASIO or...
Well, my only other experience with secret police, I guess, is when I was contacted by some Australian Department of Defence secret blah blah
that's
division.
right. Yeah, there was a Defence Department group, yes.
And they were doing a security clearance on this guy I knew from years and years ago, in Scouts, in fact, who I hadn't seen for years. And they were doing a security clearance of him. So, they wanted to trace his entire life. So I had to meet up with an officer there, or someone there. I don't know, officer, if that's the right word. Yeah, they came to my place, and I totally squealed on him.
Anybody who's got anything to do with children
Yes.
Has to have a police check, but you're talking not about ordinary police checks. You're talking about...
It was quite a boring interview. It was like about an hour, and they were asking me everything about his life, and it was quite... Because I was like, I haven't seen this guy since Scouts.
No.
And the only 3 interesting questions were, one, they asked me whether I knew whether he was a homosexual, and they clarified. They go, oh, listen, it's not like we've got anything against homosexuals, and it's fine to be a homosexual, but if he hasn't told us he's a homosexual, and he is a homosexual, he's leaving himself open to be blackmailed at some future date. So that was it. And then there was another question about whether he was involved in any cults.
Yep.
And I really wanted to give them cool information, but
he didn't
the
have
last time I saw him, he was like
petered out.
He was wearing like a scout hat, and he was like on a flying fox.
Well, he passed with flying colours. Yes. Oh, no, I can't compete with that story.
Father Bob, coming up next, Gideon Haigh. Father Bob, we have on the line author Gideon Haigh. How are you?
Hello, John. Hello, Father Bob.
Hello, Gideon, mate.
You're a writer of many non-fiction works related to mainly cricket, in fact. Have you ever written about anything but cricket?
Oh, yeah, I've written quite extensively about business.
Yes.
I've got a new book out. Here's a gratuitous plug for you.
Yes.
About James Hardie Industries called Asbestos House. It came out last week.
Well, let's not get sidetracked, Father Bob. We're not talking about asbestos. I know your fascination with asbestos, Father.
Yes.
But you've taken time aside from your book writing career to write I found a very compelling article / polemic in this month's The Monthly titled How Google is Making Us Stupid. Now, I'll be devil's advocate. You can type in any word to the Google search engine and get a list of anything. So why isn't Google the information messiah?
Yes. Well, I think they do aspire to that. In fact, Sergey Brin, who's one of the company's founders, has said that that perfect search would be like the mind of God. And there is a certain sort of I don't know. We should consult Father Bob about this. There's a sort of a theology of Google that's developing that it regards it as the ultimate oracle. But I mean, I use Google a lot. I find it immensely useful, but I also find it immensely frustrating. It for anything other than sort of instantaneous information, it provides me with a lot of what I can only describe as stuff. Prepared by people whose authority is obscure and sorted by a system whose workings are a secret to me. I mean, I just think that information is an environment, and environments need biodiversity. And as a consequence, an information source that tends towards monopoly, as I think Google now is, should be resisted.
And you're saying, let alone the world, even just within the context of the World Wide Web, you say that Google only ignores pretty much 80% of information that might come in handy.
Well, to get to most of the web, you actually need a specific URL. What happens with Google is that the same sites get visited. Because the same sites get visited, sites are ranked according to their popularity as regards links. Therefore, you have a phenomenon which in the article I've called information idle. The problem with Google is not necessarily Google itself, but how we've assimilated it. In an ideal world, a hit or a link through Google would provoke you to start looking somewhere else for the book to which it pointed you, for instance. In the real world, I think it tends to become the last stop as well as the first. It's sort of heads curiosity off at the pass.
And it's kind of like we don't know what we don't know. In fact, you paraphrase Donald Rumsfeld with his famous the unknown unknowns. And I guess that is, you assume with Google and broadening it out with the World Wide Web in general, you assume that, well, the information is all there and there's nothing else. But even, as I said, expanding it out from Google and going to the World Wide Web.
Well, that's right.
It's just not where all the information of life is.
Well, that's right. I mean, Google, with the best will in the world, is only ever going to cover a relatively small portion of the sum of human knowledge. It's possible that as we assimilate habits of going online to peruse information, searching the web will become an increasingly adequate substitute for reading books. So it's possible to see a future where you're going to have two classes of information: the information that's accessible online, which will be visited over and over again, and the information that's not, which will diminish in significance to a vanishing point, with the result that what we're living through now is not an information revolution, but an ignorance revolution.
Your article really got me to thinking, because I'm very old and I'm around in a walking frame, and I in fact used to be obsessed with kind of things like, the Freemasons and the Scientologists and the Mossad and the secret societies, but I was obsessed with them before there was the internet. And I remember, at school, having to go around Melbourne into these kind of alleyway kind of bookshops, the tiny bookshops, to try to find all this information that, now you could just find, with typing one word in.
That's right. I mean, Google is actually quite an interesting register of society's pathological interests. I mean, if you type in cancer cure into Google, you'll find about 15 million different links.
Yeah.
Now, I hate to tell you, there isn't actually a cure for cancer, and but the internet sort of pretends otherwise. And you also, the other thing that's missing from the internet is the artifact. Say if you go looking for a book on Hitler, there are all sorts of cues that a book gives you as to its authority. You can read reviews, you can check its bulk, its cover, its bibliography, you can look at its author's list of publications.
And even as you're saying, you know its limitations. You look at it and go, this is one book by that one author, and you instantaneously go, well, what is this person not telling me, or what's his interest?
That's right.
Whilst Google does throw you off and think you're somehow getting some objective everything.
It gives you the information without the artifact, so those cues are missing. And I've got a line in the piece, which I'm quite proud of, I must say. I say that to the man with a hammer, everything looks like a nail. To the man with Google, everything looks like information.
Interesting. Now,
I'm quiet because I'm older than him. And I've only started to creep into cyberspace, as I'm calling it. And when you talk about, you're not pointed in the direction of the artefact, I would have thought at my age, I would say, well, so what? But I think I've been corrupted.
Have you been corrupted?
Well, I think we've had the artefacts. All through my life we've had artefacts. So my house is filled with books. And I like them and I handle them and all that. Now, you point me and say, go over, you old fool, and Google that thing and you won't have to worry about all the artefacts.
But I think it's also, it's not only books, it's the internet gives you this false sense of satisfaction and completeness when really... I mean, even just talking from my own life and how I work and research, it's interviews, it's meeting people, and that's how you kind of build a kind of information source and a knowledge source.
Well, as a late starter, I would expect, now to be able to Google and get the lot. But see,
that's the thing. You've probably got hundreds of books at your place, but you still know when you look at that, you go, look at everything that's not here. You're aware of the unknowns.
Yeah.
Whilst on the internet it kind of throws you off and you think it's complete.
Interviewing a man here, for God's sake.
But we're allowed to have a breakaway conversation. Oh, sorry, Gideon, get back in.
No, Father Bob's quite right. I mean, we are sort of neck deep in artefacts, as he calls them, and in some ways Google is an emblem of our times. We're an era that's spoiled for choice, so we're grateful for anything that purports to discriminate on our behalf. It's like every plan can be reduced to PowerPoint, or every cultural phenomenon gets reduced to a top 10. And, that's okay for us because we understand that there is a wider world of knowledge out there. The greater problem is for kids who cannot assimilate what they find on the internet into a broader base of knowledge. For kids, Google's great. It's free, it's accessible, it's easy to get something. Google's like the infallible brainy kid whose work you can copy off. We're not in that same position. And the strange thing is that a lot of the online universe seems to be dedicated to sparing us the labour of reading altogether. We can cut and paste chunks of text. We can hit a link and convince ourselves that we're getting somewhere. We print out, and I'm sure you and Father Bob do this, John, for this kind of later, which never arrives. If your desk looks anything like mine, it's got tons of stuff that I've printed out, which I'll probably never get around to reading.
Yeah, no, you've got me all wrong. I don't use the internet. I only read thick, leather-bound books.
Can I want to say this?
Yes.
These days, as we sit in front of computers, we have at our fingertips the new Library of Alexandria, virtually the entire knowledge of the world, says Chris Savage. Now, for an old bloke to read that, I'm saying to myself, well, look, I think it might be time to die.
Well, that's a completely spurious claim, and the reason
Sounds like it, because you said
Google,
we've only got a fraction of the...
Google acknowledges that that's a spurious claim, because that's the underpinning for the Google Print for Libraries project, which is trying to scan 15 million books from 5 collecting institutions around the world. This is Google's admission that the online universe is not sufficient for all our information needs. Now, that has all sorts of implications. We're essentially allowing a private corporation to arrogate to itself the role of our primary information broker. Now, that's something that society is allowing to happen, and this is a corporation that, as I say in the piece, has been around for less time than Jessica Simpson was married.
Wow. Yes, but they do know evil, don't you understand? That's their catchprise, and they wouldn't like...
Evil,
Coke is right. It, and Google do know evil.
Yes.
Now, a real fascinating thing I found in your article was I'm paraphrasing you, is that young people are treating information differently because we know it's so on hand. We don't think we have to store it in our brains. And a comparison maybe is, I grew up with calculators, and I knew at any point I can just type in numbers to a calculator, so I don't actually have to learn the systems behind, mathematics. And you're saying that for the younger generation, information's becoming like that. We know it will instantaneously be there, especially with wireless and all that kind of stuff.
Well, of course, we think so.
Yes.
We think so. But, I mean, yes, I had an educationalist say to me that in the future it will not be important to know things because Google will always be there to tell you that George Washington was the first US president. It's going to be incredibly frustrating having conversations with people who don't know who George Washington is, and at the minute that you say his name, they have to turn to a computer terminal and type in George Washington.
Yes. And it's the same when we shake hands in the future, isn't it? We're supposed to convey to each other a kind of a CV. Just by the touch of a hand. It's going to flash into our brain, apparently.
Have either of you guys ever sort of Googled yourselves to see the weird
of course
way
not.
in which Google sort of looks at you?
Oh,
no, I'm far too non-vain. Oh, okay, yeah, I might have done it once or twice.
I did it as part of this piece, which I'd not done it before. I found that I had a Wikipedia entry that had about, in the course of 4 lines, it had 5 things wrong.
Well... I found it quite interesting in your bringing up Wikipedia. Do people actually believe that?
Well, my girlfriend's an academic, and she says that one of the major problems that she has in university essays these days is that Wikipedia is looked upon as an absolutely a perfect source.
Yeah. How can people think that when it's this open source encyclopedia? For example, I could go online now and just change something, like change your date of birth. And who would know or double-check it?
But the thing is that I don't think people care because they regard information as just like a commodity.
Yeah, that's right. You taught us that.
Well, the thing
you taught us old people that. You said you were going to give us all the information that was available to the human race. This
piece originated in some conversations I had during a talk with some students and some teachers about 2 years ago. And I said to them I thought that Google was a pretty bad thing if they wanted to be journalists because they tend to produce work like everybody else's, and that's not how journalists get noticed. And as teachers came up to me afterwards and said, that was very valuable for you to say that because we can't tell you how boring teaching has become. These days we give the students a project and 20 identical projects come back because they've all gone to exactly the same sources.
Oh, dear.
Well, I don't know if this is quite relevant, but there's sort of a little story about how the internet turns in on itself. Years ago, I was on community radio, and I just watched Rage, and there was a video clip by this girl called Mandy Moore, and she was signed to Sony, and all these Sony product placements in the clip. So I was talking on community radio about it. I was going, blah, 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 blah. I saw this clip, da-da-da-da-da. And then about a year later, I was writing for Music Jamboree, this TV show, and I thought, I remember that, mate. I wonder if I was the only person to think that or whether there's other people talking about that because, I want to talk about it on Music Jamboree, but I want it backed up. I want it backed up. So I, of course, go to Google and I type in the words, blah, blah, enough words until it comes back with one entry, and it's I think I'm validated because there's a thing here saying, Mandy Moore, and she has product placements for Sony, da-da-da, in the little summary paragraph on the Google page. So then I click on it, and then it goes to the actual page, and what it says is, I was listening to John Safran on community radio this morning, and he was talking about how Mandy Moore, so I'd kind of backed up myself with myself.
How postmodern. What an interesting postmodern phenomenon.
Well, 7,000 words you were saying in this month, the monthly. You didn't just drag it out over to 7,000 words. 'Cause I hear their word pay is quite good.
I actually cut 2,000 words out of it.
Okay.
So I've cost myself $2,000. Bloody hell. And I needed that money.
No, thank you very much.
It's my pleasure.
Yes,
Thank you.
Thank you, Gideon.
This is Sunday Night Safran on Triple J.
Father Bob.
Yep.
You've been a celibate priest your entire life.
And a celebrant of marriage for 40 years.
But who knows? You might, just, let's say, give up this whole church caper and be on the market for a lady.
Or join Dan, the modern man, as a practitioner.
We have modern man Dan, a love coach, a la the love coach in Will Smith's Hitch. And he says he can teach you, male listeners, to be naturally attractive to women. Thanks for joining us, modern man Dan.
Thank you, John, and thank you, Father Bob.
No, pleasure,
now,
mate.
I want your credentials first. Now, you're 28.
That's right.
When was your first kiss?
First kiss, I was 10 years old.
Wow, you did move in early. and when was your first date?
My first date, let's see. I was probably about 14. We went to McDonald's, had some cheeseburgers and sundaes and things, and held hands all the way home.
I'm so jealous. You see, because I went to a single-sex school, and my whole time I was there, I was like, everyone else going to these, non-orthodox Jewish schools are having fun. You went to a single-sex school
too? I went to a boys' school.
When did you pick up these women?
After hours.
Wow.
That's when it all happens, you see.
And when was your
first
proper girlfriend? When was your first proper girlfriend?
I'd say 16. Yeah.
16?
Good old choice.
Damn. And
Not marriageable age.
When did you first realise you were a chick magnet a la Arthur the Fonzarelli in Happy Days?
Well, I wasn't always a chick magnet, put it that way. Like most guys, just as things happened, got into relationships, etc. But I got to a point when I was about 24, 25, where I just wanted to have more choice with it all. I didn't want to just, get with a good-looking woman who didn't have the personality traits that I'm after. I wanted to be able to go out there and naturally attract the sort of women that I'm really into.
And did you have any official qualifications? Have you studied psychology or anything like that?
I've done a bit of study on the side, but there's no uni course.
Father Bobby's Googled. It's okay.
Yes. There's no uni course that teaches this as yet. We might start at university one day.
Now, you have various forms of this love coaching. I'm interested in the one where someone pays you, a man. This sounds saucy already. And you go out on a Saturday night with them?
A Friday and Saturday night.
A Friday and Saturday night. And you train them and teach them how to be naturally attractive to women.
That's right. At this point, I'll point out www.themodernmansite.com. And while you're listening, you can have a look around. Now, on the Friday and Saturday night, it's what we call the lifestyle course.
Yes. And it's one-on-one.
It is. And basically there's a self-assessment at the start. We find out what sort of areas the guy is really wanting to work on, and that might be flirting, it might be knowing what to say, how to make a move, just starting interactions, keeping the interaction going, etc. And then he comes out with us, one of us, on a Friday and Saturday night, and we show him how it's done and we coach him through the process.
And how does that usually play out? Is it usually successful?
Oh, definitely. Everyone has different levels of success. They're not going to do the Friday and Saturday night and they're going to, meet the woman of their dreams, but they definitely they walk away knowing how to start interactions, spark the attraction, establish some genuine rapport and, things like that.
But these are not one-night stands or something. This is a woman he already knows.
No.
He takes them out to a nightclub.
The woman.
Random.
They go to a nightclub where there's lots of women hanging about.
That's right.
I see. I'm old-fashioned.
Yeah. So one time we went to a bookstore though. There was one client who said that he likes the sort of women that he sees at bookstores. Yeah. So we went to the bookstore. And there was a few women there.
A regular bookstore. It wasn't like pornographic.
No,
down
But are you both together, you and the client?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like
I'll
close together, or you want with a little microphone?
like the SWAT team. Yeah. No, I give the advice and, get him all pumped up and send him
Off
in.
he goes.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then give him feedback afterwards.
And it works. Like at this bookshop at work, like you were like whispering, going, "What did you say to him?" Okay, imagine we're in the bookstore and I'm the guy. What are you saying to me? And I see this hot book librarian looking chick.
It depends
over
on
there.
the person, but in a typical circumstance, we'll say, "Okay, what are you going to say to kick it off?" Because most of the time, guys
what
don't
am
know
I
going to
say? That's what I'm asking.
Yeah. Well, this particular example,
go.
there was a girl standing at the magazine stand, and I said, "All right, what are you going to say to kick it off?" I don't know. Look, just chill. She's looking at the magazines. Go over and say, "Hey, magazines. I don't know what to pick these days. There's so many things. What are you into?" And he did it, and they kicked off a conversation.
Oh, isn't that nice?
It was good. But then
That works.
Yeah.
Going up to a girl and saying magazines.
Yeah. Just jamming, just having a good time.
Wow.
Try it in McDonald's with hamburgers.
Do you know? You're no doubt aware of that book,
The Game.
The Game that came out by Neil Strauss.
That's right.
Where it was sort of like his spin on the same deal that you're presenting. And I was reading the book.
It's a little bit different, but yeah.
I was skimming the book, and I was going, that's a great tip. And then I was thinking, I'll try this out, not because I wanted to. Yeah. Not because I wanted to pick up any of these girls.
Not that you'd have a problem anyway, because they'd be falling all over you.
Oh, yeah, they'd be falling all over me. But I was just interested to see whether it worked right. And I was saying, that's a great idea. Then I went, I could not do it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, it's just too embarrassing and cringeworthy.
What sort of things? Because I have to agree with you.
Did you see that fight?
Exactly.
Did you see that fight that went on outside?
You know what's going on
every
there?
guy in the world must be saying it because it's in the game.
And it's not real. So with our clients, we teach them how to be genuine, how to be real and natural, and be themselves. And make things up on the spot.
Aren't you concerned you're messing with people's heads when they're in their most vulnerable of state? Like they're lonely, they're confused, and like aren't you? Are you 100% sure the advice you're giving?
Well, put it this way, it works. It works. On Friday night, you get a client rocking up on the Friday night, and he's nervous, he's unsure about what he's going to do. Saturday night, he walks away bouncing, and his head's up in the air, he's smiling, confident. It's priceless.
Is this the art of seduction?
Not necessarily seduction, because it's more, you're the guy's starting the interaction with the woman.
But what's wrong with this guy? I mean, is he a robot?
No,
or something?
they're just. I mean, not many guys understand attraction and flirting.
Why not? I thought the sisters were supposed to help a male to become socialised.
Families torn apart.
He shakes his head and you just sit there. Is there no answer? Is that silly?
You know what? Actually, you raise a good point. You raise a really good point.
For that.
Yeah, because a lot of the time, guys get their idea on how to interact with women, how to flirt and spark attraction from their mother and sister, or mainly from their mother, and it doesn't really work because the mother's saying, be nice to her, buy her flowers and all that sort of stuff, and that doesn't actually work.
No,
not to kick off the attraction and spark it. It doesn't work.
Isn't everything?
It's nice to do every now and again to be charming,
where does
but
this woman come from?
Which one?
It's like you go to a bar.
Oh, sorry, we're back in the bloody nightclub. I forgot.
Yes.
So we're in the nightclub. So there's women there.
Yeah.
Now, what do we do here? Are we picking a woman out to stalk the Is it?
No, because if you're like bookshops,
pheromones are flying around.
Bookshops pretty full on. But if you're in like a pub, there's like a precedent. Like if you're in like a nightclub or something, or in a pub, like people expect you to go up to them. So it's kind of not the freakiest thing.
That is a really good. That's another good point because like a lot of the time people go out to these guys. They go out to the nightclub and they walk in and they're not socialising. But the reality is that people do go there to socialise. No, but not only. But if you're going out to that sort of venue, you're open to socialising. You're open to having a good time. So,
aren't there just too many variables in like the motivation of any particular woman that happens to be there, clashing with you? That it's sort of like, maybe being shy is going to work, and maybe being confident is going to work. Maybe being straight is going to work. Maybe being, ridiculous is going to, like there's just too many variables. Yeah. So it almost like there aren't any rules. You know what? That's right. Yes. I don't know. You're getting some good stuff here. Because one of the coaches, he says there aren't any rules, there's just guidelines, right? There's guidelines to understanding how attraction works and all that sort of stuff, but everyone, as you say, all the women are different and they're going to respond to different things. But there's no denying that
I'll grab a bit from the book here about attraction. You don't have to be a typically good-looking guy to attract even the most beautiful of women. Why? Because the reality of attraction is this. Although women find handsome men attractive, they feel a stronger attraction for certain male behaviours and personality types. Like, if you've got that confidence and you're having a good time and you've got confident body language, etc., the woman's going to feel that attraction most of the time. It's just going to happen. But being a nice guy...
But is it any good, I'm saying to you two clowns?
What's that?
Sitting there. You're setting up attraction instead of... You're not looking for friendship, are you? No.
You're looking for a wife or a girlfriend.
No, you're not looking for a wife, for God's sake, are you?
If the guy wants to.
You're only looking for a conquest.
No, but look,
a companion.
If the guy wants to take that forward to, into a relationship, he can, but the objective is, it's the worst frame of mind to go out with. I'm looking for my wife. And just come across talking to the woman that, okay, I've met you now, I like you, we're going to get married tonight, or we're going to get married in a couple of months. It just ruins the whole challenge.
So he's looking...
But he can marry if he likes.
He's mainly looking to see if he's capable.
If she's capable.
Bob.
She or he. Go on.
Both.
Bob, how did people meet? I'm talking to you, Bob. In the olden days, how did people meet?
Dances and tennis clubs. And the Roman Catholics, of course, used to set up their own... So they had to marry their own.
Yes.
Therefore, they had to mix with their own. You see what I mean? So these situations were set up. And even at girls' schools and boys' single-gender schools, I presume in the old days, the Christian Brothers or somebody would have been giving, now, boys, here's Chapter 8 from St. Aloysius Gonzaga's book on how to have friends without having friends. And girls at Windsor Convent or somewhere would have been... they put on school dances, for God's sake, which were ghastly. And everybody knew they were, but there was the closest you'd get to the pheromone feast. Do you know what pheromones are?
I do know what pheromones are. That's what then Good Vibrations by the Beach Boys. That's the instrument they're playing.
They're these wretched things that fly around the place and confuse us because they make us feel attracted when in fact we're not attracted as people, but only as... Go on.
Modern man.
What would I
Dan,
know?
one final question.
Yes.
Do you think you should explore and explore until you find the one? Or do you just find a kind person out of many kind people and then through sharing time and adventures together make them the one?
Wow. That's a really good question. And,
that's
I think...
from the soul, too.
Yeah. I think... could I just see that question? That is awesome.
Listeners, they're now exchanging pieces of paper. So deep and meaningful.
Well, you know what? The first part of the question, do you think you should explore and explore?
Don't correct my grammar.
No, it's good. Explore and explore until you find the one. Technique. I think... Yeah, that's what I'm doing. But, you can... I'd prefer to find someone who meets all of the things I'm after. Yeah. But in the meantime, it's good to find, as you say, someone that you can hang with and have some adventures together and stuff like that.
That exchange of that piece of paper really shows that you were attracted to each other.
Maybe. Is that the twist at the end of it all? That me and Dan go off?
That's
first moment I walked in here.
If you went into magazines and all that, you don't say magazines, you say, excuse me, you read that definition out to the woman standing in the bookstand, and she'll be rapt.
Or call the police.
Yeah, she'll say, he's a geek.
Thank you, Modern Man Dan.
Thank you.
I was going to ask a question.
And do you want to plug something?
I'll just say the website again, www.themodernmansite.com.
And Father Bob, if people want your relationship advice?
B12387. I am the celebrant
of St Peter's and Paul's Church in South Melbourne. Just drop on in and Bob will give his advice.
That's after he's got them together.
Yes.
Stop talking. Then they will come to
the further wisdom.
Stop talking.
You're listening to Sunday Night Safran.
This is Triple J. I'm John Safran. That's Father Bob. Hey, our producer, Mary Jane Fennick, just told us.
Oh, you dropped her in it.
And she says that Dan, the modern man, pickup artist, like when he meets the woman, because he met her, she goes to shake his hand. He goes in for the hug and says, I don't shake hands, I only hug.
Well, he didn't hug me.
Maybe. Why didn't you tell us that little trick?
Well, it might be, it might be off the record. See? He didn't hug you either.
No, he didn't hug me.
Well, he might hug women only.
What did you reckon about his shirt? He had like this kind of little thing where you could see his chest.
No,
I
didn't look because I'm a celibate.
You didn't look. It was right. He had like, what do you call that kind of like?
Yeah, mesh.
He had like a doily.
Mesh.
Doily. But
As soon as I noticed that, I decided I couldn't look. That's in our rule book. Didn't you know that our celibate rule book is you can't go staring at bare flesh? See what I mean? That's why it's so hard these days because so many, women are in fact bearing more flesh now than ever. Have you noticed that?
Oh, that's what people tune into youth radio to hear. Some old person complaining about the kids. You want to start whinging about their back-to-front baseball caps too?
Oh, God, and their tattoos at the base of their spines and coloured toenails. I've never seen so many coloured toenails in mine. I think I tried myself. Saves you washing your feet.
Is there
What?
Is there a encyclical ruling on coloured toenails?
Because I think the Holy Father himself has got pink shoes.
He does?
Yeah. Now, that may well, in fact, say that he's got pink toenails underneath the pink shoes, but I doubt it. An accessory.
Controversial words about Benedict XVI.
Yes, who said some interesting things recently.
What do you want to tell us then?
Of what?
Well, what
About
are these
what?
interesting things he
No,
said?
I'm only saying that, in fact, some of the guys and women who were terribly frightened when B16 was elected...
Benedict XVI.
...are, in fact, saying that this guy may well be the kind of person we need right now. Now, the right-wingers will say how impertinent it is for anybody to say he might be the kind of person we need right now, because the fact is he's there. Therefore, he's the right person. But the other side is saying... he's talking friendship, he's talking very mysterious language about Eros, and I got a fright myself when I read it. I thought...
Eros, that's love, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but it's love. But he got 3 words he put out in this damn letter he wrote.
Oh, that's right, because he wrote a thing about how we have to redefine love.
Yes.
See, because the definition's gone so out of whack.
Yes.
It's confusing us all.
And the 3 words popped up, Eros, agape, and philia.
Let me tell you, people have a hard enough trouble following you when you speak English.
Well, then
when you go into Latin.
I'm saying the different form of friendships and relationships and the flesh and the world, we're all mixed up together. It's all very exciting. See, he's Mozart. He likes your Mozart, and probably the stuff he's churning out is like music to the ears of people who got used to the Polish Pope.
That is enough Vatican propaganda.
Enough indeed.
For 1 week. Coming up next, author Mel LeBroy. This is, I'm John Safran, that's Father Bob. This is Triple J. Joining us now is author Mel LeBroy with her irregular segment, Highbrow Book Cheat Notes.
Hello.
How are you?
Lindsay, is that Lindsay a relative of the other Lindsay?
I'm so glad you asked. Yes, it's Joan Lindsay. Well, the book I'm doing is Picnic at Hanging Rock, and it's written by Joan Lindsay. And she was married to Darryl Lindsay, who was the brother of the Australian painter Norman Lindsay.
See, look at that.
So there you go. Bob doesn't need highbrow.
No, well, I was interested in that. Very interested in that, because it's a what's the word they use? A typical Aussie tale.
Yeah, exactly.
Is like the brother painted typically Aussie paintings. This is a stereotypical.
You're absolutely onto it. Let's forget Safran, because you know where I'm going with this. No, that's actually one of the points I was going to make. I mean, to jump forward a bit...
I've got a red face now.
The story, for those who don't know it, is it's 1900, St Valentine's Day, which is why I chose it, and 3... an sort of upper-crust English-style boarding school in rural Victoria. They set forth on a picnic on St Valentine's Day at Hanging Rock, and 3 of the girls and one of the school teachers go missing. So that's sort of the setup. But yeah, I completely think Joan Lindsay would have been aware of... There's a huge tradition of that sort of hostile Australian bush and children going missing. Things like Frederick McCubbin, the painting Lost in the National Gallery of Victoria. And I think she would have been very aware of those because of that whole connection with the Lindsays. So you're spot on there.
And the rescue by the noble savage, I think, occurred not in a Picnic in Hanging Rock, but there was oftentimes that motif was woven into stories of being lost in the bush.
Absolutely, and this is what makes this such an Aussie classic, because she takes one of those traditions that was really strong in Australian painting, and this is probably the seminal one in literature. It's that idea of the newcomers, the English newcomers, and completely out of their depth in the Australian bush. But have you read it, John?
No.
Just to put you on the spot? No,
But
you know
I've seen the film. That's what I was going to ask you. If you've seen the film, do you have to read the book?
You do, in this case, because it's really funny, because I've had this conversation with a few people in the past week, and everyone's seen the film and no one's read the book. And the book was published in 1967, and it was kind of moderately successful. It wasn't huge. And then, of course, Peter Weir directed the film in the 1970s, and the film was a huge success. And it's one of those really interesting cases where the success of the film actually sort of cemented the status of the book as a classic rather than the other way around. So it's sort of interesting for that case. But I kind of wonder if it wasn't for the film, because if it would have had such a status, because two of the strokes of genius where this book is concerned is... so basically that's the setup. It's a mystery tale, and it goes on and sort of everyone connected with the college suffers a terrible fate and is doomed. And it's a fabulous book. But I think it would have probably not been so successful if they hadn't done two really important things. When the book was first published, and I think it was the publisher's idea, they left off the final chapter, which explained the whole mystery. And they also put in this fabulous foreword right at the start. And I just want to read this out because it's great. And it says, whether Picnic at Hanging Rock is fact or fiction, my readers must decide for themselves. As the fateful picnic took place in the year 1900 and all the characters who appear in this book are long since dead, it hardly seems important.
Now, if you're going
if you're going to kick off a conspiracy theory, that's the way to do it, because it's not saying it is fiction, it's based on a real thing. It's just saying, I'm going to throw that out there and you decide for yourself.
Brilliant.
And it is. It was a complete stroke of genius.
And what was the publisher's reason for not putting in the final chapter?
Having read the final chapter when it was released, I think on the 25th anniversary of the book's publication, I think it's probably because they realised it would doom the book. It was published as The Secret of Hanging Rock, the final chapter, several years later, and it's terrible. I highly recommend you read Picnic at Hanging Rock, and I really recommend you
That's my favourite
don't.
angle for the whole book, that, as you said,
25 years later, I think it was, on the 25th anniversary, and that was, of course,
like the Godfather 3 of book chapters.
It was, of course, they saw the success of the film, decided to make some more money out of it, and released the final chapter, which had always been withheld. And it's dreadful. I was actually looking for my copy, and I don't have it, which I'm the sort of person who hoards books. So if I got rid of it, it was really bad. Put it this way, if you read the book and love it, and you're thinking there'll be an Agatha Christie-style resolution where all the ends are neatly tied up, don't read the final chapter, because it's not like that.
But you're saying the final chapter was written at the same time as the book?
It was, but they deliberately withheld it. Yeah.
So it wasn't written 25 years later.
No, it was
somebody
written at the same,
else.
No, it was written at the same time by Joan Lindsay, and they took
no
out
good,
the
eh?
chapter. Terrible. It's a kind of a science fiction style ending, without giving it away. I mean, it doesn't really. As I said, if you're hoping for a conventional sort of murder mystery, it's not going to do it. The book's
that could be for
actually
me, because I like
better
everything
without
about Picnic Hanging Rock, but I thought it would have been better with a bit of, like alien stuff in it.
Oh, well, you'll probably like it then, but you'll be one of the few. But you can actually go and see Picnic at Hanging Rock, the film, every Valentine's Day at Hanging Rock. They still show it every single Valentine's Day. So it's sort of the anti-Valentine's Day date.
Now, we were talking about Google before to another guest, Gideon Haigh, and about how they're going to be putting 1 million books online. Are you happy with that as an author?
As an author, and portions of books. That's what I find more interesting, that you can actually just get, a page or something like that. I don't know how I feel about that one, to be honest. I haven't thought it through. It's a kind of a weird feeling, because from what little I've read is they haven't sought copyright as well. From, for example, they've got permission from, I think it's like the Public Library of New York or something, to download all the books, but they haven't sought the permission from the authors instead. So there's some really weird kind of issues there.
Yeah, it's some weird legal loophole, isn't it?
Yeah. And
I think because the libraries are allowed to, in a limited sense, do what they want with the books. That's the deal, that's the law, and now they're kind of...
Well, as an author, you get sort of a very minimal royalty, which is called electronic public lending or something, whereas they kind of make up for the fact that people borrow your books from the libraries and don't buy them. But I think we're sort of more looked after in some ways better than musical artists. But yeah, I can't get past the whole idea of not having a book in my hands, like the whole tangible aspect of sitting down, curling up with a book. I mean, to just be in front of your computer, it doesn't seem as such a enjoyable pastime.
That previous bloke, Gideon Haigh, referred to that as an artefact.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean,
that's to me as an old person. Artefacts for us were stuff that you dig out of the mummy's grave.
Yeah,
an artefact. Now we're talking about books, not my mother's grave. The Egyptian mummy's grave.
I wasn't having a go at your
But
mother.
would you want to sit
mother.
and look at a computer screen and read a book? Maybe it's just because it's such a foreign idea to us, but I don't. I want to be able to fold the page over
and you want the
bookmark it
newspaper in your hand too? Or would you read newspapers on the...
Oh, sometimes I read it online, but I think I prefer to have the hard copy, yeah.
And you are just finishing up your latest book?
I am. Did you have to bring that up?
When's the deadline?
Valentine's Day, actually, next week.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And how much you have to go?
Oh, the ending?
Just don't do the final chapter.
Done. It's almost
Bring
done.
aliens
Leave
into
it
it. It'll
out.
be good. Yeah.
Leave it out. Actually, yeah, maybe that's a good idea. Maybe I'll try that.
Do you have a title for it yet?
No, I don't. I get really embarrassed talking about my work. You know that.
Yes.
No.
Nice, John. What are you talking about?
Is it going to be successful?
I sincerely hope so.
And what genre is it?
It's romantic comedy. That's what I write. So you know that. You've never read them, but you've got them on your shelves at home.
You told me you didn't. What? You told me you didn't mind that I hadn't read your books, but now every so often it comes up in a conversation.
I just make a pointed comment.
A little passive aggressiveness that I haven't read your book yet.
Well, I just think, call yourself a friend, but that's fine.
What? No, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. If it makes you feel,
You need Dan the modern man back here to handle me now.
I don't turn up to any of Bob's sermons either. So
no.
And how do you feel about that, Bob?
Not turning up.
It hurts a little, doesn't it?
Oh, I'm grateful. He was there once and took over.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, he took over and completely distorted the thing so that, in fact, I had to more or less, call for help.
Did you allow him up next to you?
I let him into the pulpit. I said, read
that
that beautiful thing and give us an insight. And he took over. And then he took from his pocket some novel pages from a novel by who? Who was the bloke who wrote the
That was Devil's Playground.
Devil's Playground. He's reading in my church about that damn bird who visits the metal planet, keeps picking at it, and the priest is yelling that the bird will do this for billions of years, ladies and gentlemen, and even that's not long enough for the time you will spend in hell for your sin. Now look at this.
And how did that go down with the
church.
congregation? How did that go down with the congregation?
Well, they were nonplussed because they thought, well, maybe this Safran knew more about reality than the priest.
Oh, well, you could have read some of my book out if you know.
We might have to read her book out on Valentine's Day.
And are you doing two versions, as you did with your last book, where there was an American version and an Australian version?
Oh.
Well, hopefully. I don't have a contract as yet, but hopefully they'll pick it up in the States. And if so, yeah, they'll do the same changes.
That was kind of interesting, because you're going through two separate editors for the same transcript, and they're giving two different sets of feedback. So there's actually just two versions of it.
Yeah, it was actually really confusing trying to figure out where I was with both. And I obviously had to Americanise one of the versions just in terms of the language, changing footpath to sidewalk and all that kind of stuff. So I think and some of the characters ended up calling, their parents mom and that sort of, but it was set in Australia, which was the weird thing that I couldn't get my head around.
Dear.
But apparently it's just too hard for
Can't Americans read books with other people's language in it?
No. But it was set in Melbourne, and yet they had Australian characters using these American sort of sayings. That was what I couldn't get my head around, but it was all very strange.
She had to change walking to moonwalking in the American version. Any final thoughts on Picnic at Hanging Rock? Do you want to give it stars or anything?
No, I never give stars. As I said, do read it, but my advice would really be don't read the final chapter. Don't go out and search for it, and don't buy it, and don't borrow it, and don't read it.
The final chapter in that?
No, it's published separately. They wanted to make some money out of it. But it's a fantastic book. It really is. Or go and hire the movie, because that's bad.
And a very talented family, isn't it? By the sounds of it, the Lindsays.
Very much so.
Thank you, Mel Labroy. Thank you, Father Bob.
You're listening to Sunday Night Safran.
Hey, I got another call during the week from one of your friends trying to get me to do a charity event or something.
No, he's trying to get us to make a DVD so we can...
Wait, is it...
No, this is the end. There won't be any more.
Because this is like the second time, because we've got that cigar person from the Cigar Institute.
Are you going to go or not?
Yes, I'm going to turn up. Are you happy?
And in and out?
Well, I'll stay there for the meal.
Will you?
You've totally corrupted me. I've gone from being a white lily...
What, you see the menu?
...to now I'm turning up to some Tobacco Institute kind of dinner. But thank you very much, Father Bob Maguire. And now there's this other thing. What's this thing I have to do for the Open Family
This
Street?
is different. This is a real good cause. We're going to make a DVD.
Bob, if I would have known that hanging out with you would mean I had to do good stuff
No, I
occasionally.
know that. That's what I'm saying. This is the
Like
end.
for one
I won't
moment-
ask you to do anything else for the term of my natural life.
Bob, dear Father Bob, this is via the email. Our Brazilian Association received a phone call from the Brazil One Volvo Ocean race team asking us to find a priest to bless their boat.
Yeah.
They've been on the sea for quite some time and are currently doing the Melbourne stopover. I know you're a very busy man, however, this is very special to the Brazilian community. Will you do
Isn't
that?
that nice?
Will you bless the boat?
I'll go down and bless the boat. They're in the same patch of water my old man used to float around in as a merchant sailor, so I'm going to go down and bless the boat.
So what does that mean? Does that work? Does that mean they're less likely to be thrown off in a storm
They
and
believe.
drown?
It's what they believe. Won't work if they can't sail.
Yeah. But if you can sail, it'll increase the chance that, like, what's that bit, the wooden bit that comes swinging and knocks you in the back of the head and
The
throws you
yard
off
arm
the ship?
or something.
The yard
I don't
arm.
know what it is. I don't know. Yeah, but I mean, it's only it makes the people feel better. Now you're going to say to me, but I mean that's all hypocrisy because you don't believe that. I do believe it plugs people into the universe. That's all.
Now, Father Bob, we're getting to the end of the show, but I have to ask you for your comments on a few things. An Italian atheist has lost his legal crusade against the Catholic Church when a judge rejected his attempts to sue a priest for saying that Jesus existed 2,000 years ago. This man had said that the church had broken an Italian law that meant to protect the public from being conned. So he wanted to take it to church and get the church to prove Jesus existed.
Good try.
But they kicked it out.
Good
they said
try.
they've got too many murders and...
To handle exactly the same as in this country when they're arguing about the vilification laws now. You see, it depends on who wants what. Listen, don't forget the guest book on the Triple J website, www.triplej.net.au/Safran.
We did get a lot of feedback on the guest book, including people saying, Tom says, I reckon that it might have been Jet who kicked the fat guy out of the band, not Youth Group. We were talking about this last week about the rumour that the band Youth Group had kicked the fat member out of the band.
Member out.
No, I'm afraid not, Thomas. I've double-checked my rumour, and yes, Youth Group definitely kicked a fat member out.
All right.
Someone else, because we were talking about the Kurds last week.
Yep.
And this person said, God, this is so complicated and of no interest to the listener, but I've kind of started it. I quoted a writer called Justin Raimondo, and I sort of implied he was a left-wing writer who was critical of the Kurds, and this person is saying he's in fact a right-wing writer who's critical of the Kurds. Except in this particular context, Father Bob, even though he may be right-wing, he's on this particular subject, he's anti-war and anti-American, so I kind of meant... I was referring to Justin Raimondo in the context of that,
Yeah, all right, listen, that's all right. Try my blog page, fatherbob.com.au. I got it. No, we're not. We're off in 30 seconds.
No, we've got like 2 minutes to go.
Oh.
Now, rap star Kanye West is calling for a revised edition of the Bible. The Jesus Walks hitmaker, who picked up a Grammy Award, feels sure that he would get a mention in the modern Bible. Why doesn't the Catholic Church... This is fair enough. Why doesn't the Catholic Church, update things? Things have happened since 2,000 years ago.
We've updated it. We've got tradition, right? We have not in print, but in word. Mary Jane's given us the flick.
Thank you very much, Father Bob.
That wasn't with a blast we ended up that. That was with a whimper.
I know. Trying to make up. Thank you very much, Eran Klein.
Yes, and thank you very much to Mel LeBroy.
Thank you very much to Gideon Haigh.
And to Dan, the modern man.
Bye-bye.
Triple J.